Hola amigos, and we are live. I hope everybody is well today. Stuart here from Spain's Bigs, coming in at 7:30 p.m. Spain mainland time, 6:30 p.m. here in Portugal, and also 6:30 p.m. in the Canary Islands, and 6:30 p.m. I believe in the United Kingdom and Wales. Hope everybody is well. We're going to have a look at some of the main stories that have caught my attention over the weekend, and also some of the comments that were left on the video that I posted yesterday. And we'll also go into the chat section here to my right and see what is going on there. Now, let's go straight into the chat section. We'll say hello to a few people, as I normally do. We've got Philip coming in from Northumberland, watching with his father. Hello, guys. Hope you are both well. Bill coming in from York in the UK. Yogi coming in from I don't know where, probably the UK as well, asking about the digital visa. Any news updates on the digital visa? I don't have any updates, Yogi, to be honest. Not sure what's going on with the digital visa. I think the government gave themselves until the end of summer 2022 to get things organised, but as we know, those dates are not always met, and the government most likely has more important things on the table than the digital nomad visa, I would say, given the state of the economy, not only in Spain but also in the European Union. So can't guarantee when that digital nomad visa is going to come out, Yogi, unfortunately, because I haven't heard anything about it being available yet. So we'll see what happens. All right, what else we got going on here? Kelvin, hurry back to Spain, Stuart. Miss you. Good vibes. I'll be back shortly. I'm going back to Spain for a couple of days over the next week or so, so I will be back there shortly. What else we got going on? Chris here from the Valle del Sol, 31 degrees. Cheap today. Not hot is what I want to say. Mild today, 31 degrees in the Valle del Sol. Normally quite hot, according to Chris's information from down there in Malaga, I think it is. Babs coming in from Wales, and Emas coming in from, I think, the United States, Southern California, that's right. So I hope everybody is having a fantastic Sunday today. Now, we're up to 17 likes. I'll just put the little like icon up on the screen so people can hit that like button to keep me motivated for the next 35 minutes or so. So if you haven't done so already, please hit that like button. We'll see if we can get up to 50 by the time I come back from the first news article, which is this one here. And that is that the Ecological Transition Minister, or the Minister for Ecological Transition in Spain, Teresa Rivera that is, will meet with the autonomous regions on Monday to align energy-saving policies. The government has finally agreed to hold the Energy Industry and Trade Sectoral Conference this Monday with the heads of the autonomous regions of the sector, as requested by the Partido Popular, the opposition party, who is upset that the meeting initially scheduled for Tuesday by the Ministry of Ecological Transition was only technical between the Directors General, and to clarify doubts, this meeting, which will be held online, will be attended by the Vice President and Minister of Ecological Transition, Teresa Rivera, and the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Tourism, Reyes Maroto. Okay, so there we go. A couple of government ministers sitting down with the autonomous regions to talk about these energy-saving policies and get everybody on the same page, because as we know, there have been a few autonomous communities that are a bit reluctant to start with some of these new policies. For example, the 10 p.m. Limit for leaving shop lights on, or shop window lights. They have to be turned off at 10 p.m. and also air conditioners to be set at 27 degrees Celsius in public buildings and businesses. So, for example, shopping centres, high street shops, banks, that type of thing have to be set at 27 degrees Celsius. Although, as we did see the other day, some businesses will be able to set their air conditioning at 25 degrees Celsius because it's the working conditions, are not the same. Not the same to be working, as I have said, in a hot kitchen as it is to be sitting in an office doing paperwork and working on your computer. So the government has rectified that and said that those businesses, those hotter businesses, let's say gyms, nightclubs, kitchens, 25 degrees Celsius, the rest 27. And we'll have a look at an article about air conditioning in a minute, because as predicted, the pressure is coming on and coming into the press to get everybody to turn their air conditionings to 27 degrees. Somebody in the chat section the other day said, maybe it was a comment, said, oh, but private homes don't have to have their air conditioning set to 27. True, but there is a push to get everybody on the same page with this air conditioning minimum. So even though private homes are not mandated by law, there is a push in the press, and the government would also like everybody doing the same thing. So that's what is happening, I believe. Now we'll go back into the chat section here. We've got a super chat, I think, from Michelle. $15. Thank you very much for that, Michelle. Very generous of you. I'll just put that one on the screen there for people to see. So thank you very much. $15 from Michelle. Thank you very much. All right, back into the chat section. What else have we got going on here? Emast wants to know, what is a child level joke in Spanish? I want to engage with Spanish speaking kids in our area. Not sure what a child level joke is in Spanish, Emast, to be honest. I'm sure people in the chat section will let us know, but I can't think of any off the top of my head, to be honest. Maybe I could call my son in here and see if he knows any jokes, but I can't think of one, as I said, off the top of my head. But I'm sure people in the chat section will be able to help you with your Spanish jokes. My Spanish jokes are a little bit blue, unfortunately, so probably not the best ones to say here or for kids, let's say. All right, we're up to 63 likes. Sorry, we've got Pat coming in from Asturias, not in Galicia today. Pat, changed autonomous communities. We've got Ross coming in from Albany, New York. Jose Antonio from the Royal City. Not so hot today, so the heat wave seems to have subsided in various parts of the country. I have heard that there's another heat wave planned for coming days, I think, so get ready for that. Jason coming in from Wolverhampton. Stan coming in from Poland. And Grant coming in from Sierra, Asturias. And Alan Edge, as normal, in the chat section here, coming in from the UK, I believe. Alan. Now, let's have a look at the next piece of news that we have here. And this is where I'm getting the impression that there's a push on to get everybody on board with the 27-degree air conditioning limit, because articles like this one are popping up in the press in Spain. As we can see here, using air conditioning below 24 degrees is bad for your health and your wallet. A living room exposed to direct sunlight and without shading barriers such as awnings or blinds can reach very high temperatures during the summer. The first temptation on arrival in the room may be to switch on the AC, the air conditioning, if it is available. But it is advisable to adhere to certain guidelines to avoid wasting energy. The comfort temperature recommended by the sources consulted in this report is 25 or 26 degrees Celsius, and bathroom fitters say that it should never go below 24 degrees Celsius. The energy savings plan, approved last Monday by the government, requires commercial establishments and public buildings to limit the use of air conditioning to 27 degrees Celsius. So there we go, this article saying that around 25, 26 degrees is the recommended air conditioning setting and not lower. Now, I was trying to think, because I don't have air conditioning at home, and I'll talk about that in a minute as well, but I was trying to think what I have the air conditioning in the car set to, and I went down and had a look, and I have it set to 20 degrees. So in the car, 20. So in people's homes, 24, 25, 26 as they're recommending there. I don't know. Let us know what you guys set your air conditioners to at home. Now, I put I put a survey or a poll in the chat section. So I'm going to have a look at the results here now about the ice shortage in Spain. Let's have a look. So 55 votes. Only 9% of people have been affected by the ice shortage, and 91 people saying no, there is still plenty of ice available where they buy it. So there we go. People are not affected by the ice shortage. So good to see. Plenty of ice still in people's freezers or people's supermarket freezers. Dirk coming in from Villajoyosa down there in Alicante. David R. saying no ice in Malaga. So there we go. So David is affected by the ice shortage. And I've seen that in Valencia, we saw the other day that they're rationing ice at the moment, limiting the amount of bags people can buy. So no ice in Malaga, according to David, or at least where he is in Malaga. Jose Antonio is clarifying that, saying that Malaga is the main ice producer in Spain. Truly, he says. So if there's no ice in Malaga, there could be a problem for the rest of the country. Let's have a look at what else is going on here. We've got Andrew coming in, a regular viewer from Southeast London, and Tim coming in from a humid New York City, and Dave coming in from a very hot Madrid, St. Pete to Madrid, and Nico from Barcelona, another regular viewer here in the chat section. So good to see everybody there today. Now we're up to 83 likes, 167 people watching. So I'll just put that little like logo back on the screen. If you have not hit the like button already, please do so. It keeps me motivated, as I said, while I'm doing those videos. Now let's have a look at a chat here from Leslie. Hello, Stuart. Enjoying your time in Portugal. I will be going to Mar Menor in Murcia for 3 weeks. I can't wait. Yes, Leslie, thank you very much for that chat. I am enjoying my time in Portugal, and I hope you enjoy your time in the Mar Menor in Murcia, which, as we know, is an area which has been in the press lately for the wrong reasons, especially when it comes to the ecological situation of that sea. All right, good. Now, the third piece of news we'll look at today, this one here. Oil harvest plummets 40% due to drought. Autumn price hike looming. So bad news there for olive oil lovers. The drought is a reality throughout Spain due to the lack of rain this winter, which has meant that, among many other sectors, agriculture has seen its harvest of various products reduced. Olive groves, especially Andalusian ones in areas such as Seville and Jaén, are no different, and this year's difficult circumstances are threatening consumers with price rises. So there we go, price rises when it comes to olive oil looming in August, and olive oil has been increasing for the last year, I think, in price. The price of a litre of olive oil, I think, in the supermarkets for extra virgin olive oil, even the cheap supermarket brands, is around $4.20, $4.30, I think, maybe a little bit cheaper, maybe a little bit more. And if you get one of the brand virgin, extra virgin olive oils, you can pay around the €5.50, €6 mark, I believe. So a little bit expensive at the moment, and price hikes looming given the oil or the olive shortage in places like Jaén, places like Seville, because Jaén, down there in the south of Spain in Andalusia, the first Andalusian province you get to after you leave after you leave Castilla-La Mancha, is Jaén, and if anybody's been to that part of Spain, it is olive tree after olive tree after olive tree, and the smell in the air is of oil refining. So it's a very it's an industry down there which is very, very popular, and if there's a shortage there, prices definitely will go up. So let's have a look. Della coming in, just back to Gran Canaria from Lisbon. Let's have a look at this one here. We spent 10 amazing days, travelled with our dog VRSA to Lisbon, and the same on the way back. So easy to travel by train with a dog in Portugal. There we go. So easy to travel with a dog in Portugal, says Della. Didn't know that, but what, do you have to put your dog into a little carry case or something, Della, or are you allowed to have it sitting next to you on the seat, or does it have to go on the floor of the train? Let us know how you travel with a dog on a train in Portugal. Let us know. All right, good. Denise saying that the ice shortage doesn't affect her because she makes her own ice. That's always an option, Denise, to make your own ice, whether you have an ice making machine or whether you have those plastic containers that you fill up and stick in the freezer. Always a way that you can get around the ice shortage. But a lot of people find that those little squared ice things that we used to have in the freezer when we were kids, a lot of people find that they just don't have enough ice. You need 5 or 6 of them to have the same amount as a bag. And I think I mentioned yesterday that In Spain, a bag of ice normally 70, 80 cents in the supermarket. You get a fairly decent size ice cube. And for people that like to have ice in their drinks on a hot summer day, a lot of people prefer to buy a bag at the supermarket rather than make their own. But you're quite right, Denise, you can make ice quite easily, as we know. Okay, City Fan is in the chat section. Another regular viewer here. Hello, Ola, he says. Sandra coming in from Durham, North Carolina. John coming in from the UK, I think, still talking about the blue badge. Have we got a result on the blue badge, John? Let's have a look. I've been critical of Spain's attitude towards using the blue badge. However, I have found out that the UK does not allow disabled from Australia to use it here, so no more moaning. There we go. John, thank you. No more moaning, he says, about the blue badge. Yeah, not sure what's going on with the blue badge in Spain. I don't think we ever came to the bottom of that problem. Unfortunately, John was trying to go to Nerja down there in Andalusia, I think, trying to get information, but we weren't able to get it. But probably so that blue badges are not recognised in a lot of countries internationally, John. That seems to be the case. All right, good. What else we got going on? Sheila says that it's still boiling in the Balearics, Mallorca, so we still have some hot weather in some parts of the country. So I hope the air conditioning is running, Sheila. No lower than 25 or 26 degrees, hopefully. Okay, we're up to 106 likes now, so that's good to see. And I'll get on to the last piece of news that I'm going to look at today, which is this one here. And it's about the possibility of a recession in Spain. And according to the economy minister, Nadia Calviño, there's not going to be one. The organisations expect Spain to maintain growth above the European average, she says. So Nadia Calviño has ruled out a recession in Spain. The Minister for Economic Affairs and Digital Transformation has spoken today about the economic future of the country, conditioned like the rest of Europe by the crisis resulting from the war in Ukraine. The Vice President acknowledged today that there is uncertainty regarding what will happen next autumn, although she defended the fact that Spain is in a situation of relative strength to face the challenges ahead of it in a very turbulent international scenario. She explained that Spain continues to maintain strong growth, as she stressed that all national and international organisations agree that the country's economic growth will be at least 4% in 2023 and 2% next year. So there we go, the economy minister ruling out a recession, while other people are saying that there will be a recession. Various economists on the internet and in the press have said that they are expecting Spain to go into a recession, but according to Ms. Calviño, it will not be the case. So we'll see, but as we know, the government can be a little bit more optimistic than other people when it comes to talking about the economy, considering that there's an election in 2023 in Spain. So we'll see. All right, good. What else we got going on here? Sherbet Dip had fun in Benidorm going back in November. Air conditioning better not be limited or I'll be resetting it, they say. There we go. Challenging the air conditioning rules there at the hotel. I don't think hotels are affected by air conditioning. I don't think. Don't quote me on that, but I don't think hotels were mentioned. I think it was other businesses. Not sure whether hotels are mentioned or not. But if I'm wrong, please let me know. What else we got going on here? Southampton, great weather there at the moment. Good to see. Michelle is asking a question here. Michelle, who contributed before with a super chat. Can anyone recommend an autoescuela in Vigo, Spain? I'll be there in November and need to get my Spanish driver's license. Michelle, yeah, we'll put that question out there. If anybody can recommend an autoescuela in Vigo, there are some big chains around the country, so you'll find the same types of driving schools all around the country. But if anybody knows a specific driving school in Vigo, Galicia, please let Michelle know to help her out there. One that can perhaps maybe help her get her license. All right, good. What else we got going on? Any word about Spanish jokes? We've got a bit of translation here from Jose Antonio. He says, just translate one in English to Spanish. that might work. But I think what the person was looking for before was an authentic Spanish joke. Maybe, Jose Antonio, if you've got one, like a dad joke that you share with kids, please let us know. Please let us know. A dad joke in Spanish. What else we got going on here? Still too hot, says Pure Blood. Naranjo 99 coming in from New York. Greetings from there. Thank you very much. Rita coming in from Torremolinos. And Philip saying that he has not had any problems with ice in Malaga, but he drinks beer. And as we know, we don't put ice in beer. Yet. You never know what's just around the corner when it comes to beer drinking. It might be the new trend in the future. Ice in beer. All right, now we'll have a look at the first comment from yesterday's video. Let's have a look at this one here from Rob. I see you were saving lots of energy by not wearing a tie. Well picked up on Rob. I'm not a tie wearer. I went through a tie phase a few years ago when I was giving English classes in a bank. Everybody around me had ties on, so I decided to put one on as well, but it didn't last long. To be honest, I can't stand ties, and I prefer not to wear them. Maybe if I have to go to a wedding in Spain, which are normally quite formal, I might put a tie on, or a funeral or something like that, but normally I would not wear a tie. Suit, have no problem wearing a suit, but just with an open neck shirt or something like that is my preference, because I'm not a tie guy, to be honest. I'm a t-shirt guy or a short sleeve shirt guy, but no tie. All right, good. Now we're up to 128 likes. I'll put the like button back up there again here so we can hit that like button if you can, just below the video. Smash the like button. We'll see if we can get up to 150. I don't want to say 250, even though the other day we nearly got to 250. 235 likes during the live stream, which was great. I must say that I was not expecting 235 likes, but thank you very much for everybody who participated the other day with a like. Thank you very much. All right, what else we got going on here? City Fan says he went to a Chinese restaurant today, was rationing, and he only got one ice cube in his drink. The Chinese restaurant was rationing. There we go. So ice rationing going on around the country. Normally you'd probably get 2 or 3 ice cubes in your drink, but Chinese restaurants in Barcelona starting to ration ice. So there we go. It's getting serious. Jose Antonio, no ice in Malaga, no fresh fish in Badajoz. Another tragedy for people in Badajoz, no fresh fish. And of course, ice fundamental for the fish as well. Whenever you go to a fish market, they use a lot of ice. But I think they'd probably have an ice making machine, or at least I would expect them to have an ice making machine considering the amount of ice that they use at a fish market. All right, what else we got going on? We've got a few jokes coming in. I won't put them on the screen just in case they're not made for kids, but if I see one that seems fairly G-rated, I'll put it on the screen. Mora's coming in from Jerez de la Frontera. Hello, Mora down there in Cádiz. Hope all is well. Hope not too hot, Mora. And we've got Dilla saying that the price of chicken has gone up. There we go. So even when the global inflation is over, prices will never be the same as before. Don't know, Della. Don't know whether prices will go back to what they were before. Let's hope that they do, and let's hope that things like chicken and olive oil don't stay expensive, but I think markets control those prices, so they might go up and down when all of these problems are out of the way, whenever that is. But chicken is also something in Spain that is expected to go up in autumn as well, or at least chicken shortages, so no doubt the price will go up as well. Paul coming in from Edinburgh in Spanish, as we know. Thank you very much there for that one, Paul. And Rota down there in Cádiz as well, Sabina. So plenty of activity around Spain today, which is good to see. Spain, the UK, the States, plenty of people coming in. And of course, Stan in Poland as well. So an international audience watching today. Now, the second comment from yesterday's video, let's have a look. From Rob. Stuart, I heard you say you don't have air conditioning. How hot does your house get then? Do apartments, flats have window air conditioning or central air conditioning? Well, I'll answer the second question there, Rob, and it is that it depends. So it depends basically when your flat was built. If it's a new construction, there is a chance that you could have some type of central air conditioning going on. I know people that live in relatively new houses, the last 10 years or so, and the air conditioning is a central system. You have these little ducts in the ceiling where the air conditioning comes through. You can control the temperature, but of course I think it is controlled centrally, similar to those old central heating systems in buildings around Spain. And but if your house is if your apartment is a little bit older than that, the chances are that if you have air conditioning, remember a lot of places don't have air conditioning. I lived in 2 or 3 apartments in Madrid that didn't have air conditioning. But if you do, normally it's a window air conditioning, or it's on a wall outside the flat, of course, and you have the air conditioning coming in just above a window or next to a window, as you said there. So it depends, but the most common things that I see in the area that I live in an area of houses, and of course people in those houses buy their own air conditioning units and stick them on the side of the house. And a friend of mine, as I mentioned yesterday, has 4 or 5 of these air conditioning units because of the orientation of his house, which is different to where we live. So we live in a house that doesn't have good summer, well, it depends. It doesn't have good winter orientation because it's cold for the 3 or 4 or 5 months of the winter, but it's cooler in summer, and that's why we've never really had to put an air conditioning unit in. However, this last summer, I have noticed the nights especially have been unbearable, or they were unbearable when I was in Madrid, and that's why I was contemplating putting an air conditioning unit in, because of those hot nights. During the day, I get by, but at night, it can be a problem. And some of the hot nights that we've had recently reminded me of my childhood in Perth, when I remember the hottest nights I've ever experienced were in Perth back when I was a kid. I had to go to sleep some nights with a wet cloth on my forehead because it was just too hot to get to sleep, and that has been some of the nights this summer in Madrid, or quite a lot of nights actually, as people living in Madrid will be able to attest to. All right, good. What else we got going on here in the chat section? Suzanne saying that my guess is that an ice shortage isn't the biggest problem in Spain right now. Greetings from Washington. Probably not, but it is making press because it's one of those things that people like to talk about in the press, Suzanne. But of course, there are bigger problems than that one, as we know. What else we got going on here? Stuart, have you heard the saying, a toro in a china shop? No, Alan, I've heard the expression a bull in a china shop, but I've never heard the expression a toro in a china shop. No, I have not. What else we got going on? Lee M says equally hot in Valencia. Good to be home though. Good to see. Brian from Sunderland saying here that car prices seem to be very high from Alicante. Any advice on getting cheaper hire for cars? Let Brian know in the chat section if there's a way to get cheaper car rentals. I think I saw a method using a VPN, a virtual private network. You can get the car from a different source, and it did seem to be a little bit cheaper if you hired the car from a different area through a VPN, or even changing the cookies on your browser so that they don't know that you are looking. I think that could be something that you could do, Brian, but I have heard that car prices are expensive at the moment. So if anybody has any tricks for Brian, please let him know in the chat section there on how to get a cheaper car rental, or a company that offers cheaper car rentals if there is one out there. All right, what else we got going on? 2023 next year, that is true. That's when the elections are, 2023 next year, I think. Philip coming in, bon dia from East Tennessee, I think that is. Not quite sure, but let us know if that is the case. Boa tarde, I think it would be at the moment, the afternoon here in Portugal. What else we got going on here? Byron asking a question about Spain's unemployment. Hi, Stuart. I do not understand why Spain has very high unemployment with so many tourists visiting every year. Yeah, basically the problem, Byron, I think is structural unemployment. There are a lot of people that are unemployed for certain types of jobs, where other jobs go begging, and jobs in the tourist sector especially. People in Spain just don't want to do those jobs because they have qualifications that put them above doing those jobs, obviously. So you might get high employment in certain sectors, and that's one of the reasons why the government has recently changed the law to allow more people to come into the country, to facilitate people coming into the country to fill those jobs that Spanish people don't want to do for whatever reason, whether it's because they are overqualified or whether they just don't want to work for those lower salaries. That could be the reason as well. Same thing is happening here in Portugal. Portugal also has higher unemployment than some other European countries, but they're talking about also getting people from from Portuguese-speaking countries like Brazil to come into Portugal and fill those jobs that people don't want to do. Waiters, bar staff, hotel workers, things like that. So tourism jobs basically that don't pay particularly well, and locals don't want to do those jobs. A lot of Portuguese people, I have noticed, head to other European countries to work where the salaries are higher. There's lots of people here at the moment back on holiday from Luxembourg, Switzerland, France, Germany. A lot of Portuguese people go and work in those countries, come back to Portugal for their holidays, but they don't want to work in the low-paid jobs here. They would prefer to be making more money in another country and then obviously saving, doing whatever they do with that money, coming back to retire in this country in a few years' time when their work life finishes. That's the plan for a lot of people, not working in low-paid tourist jobs, I think. But again, if I'm wrong, please let me know. All right, good. What else we got going on? Gino coming in with Isabella. Hi, guys. I didn't see your chat before, so hope all is well there. I'm still going to get in contact with your cousin Gino. Don't worry about that. What else we got going on here in the chat section? Driver's license chat going on. Pat adding to the conversation, who recently got her license. So maybe Pat knows a driving school in Galicia that might have a branch in Vigo. So I'm sure Pat will be adding to that conversation there. And what else we got going on here in the chat section? Put ice in beer is not enough. It'll get watered down. That is true, Babs. I don't think anybody's considering putting ice in beer at the moment. But a nice cold beer, when you get that perfect temperature for a cold beer, is there anything better? Is there anything better? All right, Brian coming in from La Marina, or still hot in Alicante, apparently, says Brian has been to the pool to cool down. Well done, Brian. Need to cool down in that hot Alicante temperature. All right, we're up to the 32-minute mark. We're up to 178 likes. I'll just put the little like button back on the screen. We'll see if we can get to 200. So if you haven't hit that like button yet, please do so. We'll see if we can get the 200 likes today on the live stream. Now, the next comment is this one here. Let me see if I can find it. From Richard, he says, the building quality is appalling in Spain. Materials are not acceptable for a hot climate, and top plastering covers up the substandard building control as part of the corruption here in Spain. If someone has any idea that the structure is poor quality, please join me in alerting the buyers. So Richard obviously not happy with a property that he has bought because of the poor building quality. And I think I've spoken about this before. I did a video on housing in Spain a few years ago, and I did say that a lot of the houses that I have seen are fairly poor quality. You can buy good housing. You might have to pay a premium for it, and it all depends on the time when you buy. So if you buy in the middle of a housing boom, the chances are that you're not going to get a very good quality building, because the builders want to just finish quickly and move on to the next one, which was what happened to us 20 years ago when we first bought a house on the outskirts of Madrid. A boom started and the process got delayed and the materials got cut back on, and things that they promised us weren't complied with. For example, we were going to have a kitchen put in. That didn't happen. We were going to have built-in wardrobes put in. That didn't happen. So they just cut back on a lot of things as well. So be careful with that. And also when it comes to the thickness of the walls with the neighbors, be careful, because normally in a lot of houses in Spain, even ones that have been built recently, you can hear neighbor activity, so be careful with that, but you can get decent constructions. And one of the things that I did notice was that here in Portugal, where we have this apartment, the construction of this, or the building of this apartment, was a lot better than the building or the construction of the house that we have in Spain. So there is a difference between the qualities, and the builder here also was a lot friendlier as well. That was a problem that we had in Madrid as well. The builder just wasn't a friendly guy. Yeah, in fact, he was quite aggressive, and if you mentioned anything, they didn't answer the telephone anymore after that. So yeah, Richard, it is a problem in Spain that there can be substandard building controls and building materials used. So buyer beware when purchasing a home in Spain. But as I said, you can get some decent ones. But in my experience, a lot of the places that I have lived in have been a little bit dodgy. And that gotele, as they call it in Spanish, which is that plastering over the walls to cover up all of the imperfections, quite common still in Spain, I believe. But anyway, let us know your experiences with buying property in Spain. If you have had a decent builder, if you bought a new home, let us know what the quality was like, if there were any defects, and we'll see if we can, if we agree or disagree with what Richard just said. All right, we've got Gerard here in the chat section, a Kiwi based in Mallorca, 12 years living in Mallorca. What's your local English rag? We have a Mallorca Daily Bulletin, but is now only weekly. Do you have a similar paper in English, says Jared? No, Jared. In Madrid, there are no English newspapers similar to the Mallorca Daily. There used to be one a few years ago called In Madrid. Maybe it still exists, I don't know, but it was more like a local gig guide, and I had a few job offers in there as well and a few stories about Madrid, but nothing like the Mallorca Daily, because I think, or the Mallorca Weekly, as you said now, because the Mallorca Weekly is obviously catering to a big English-speaking population in places like Mallorca or the Balearic Islands. And if you go to the Costa del Sol in Spain or Alicante, you've even got radio stations in English, which in Madrid we don't really have. There's one station in Madrid called Vaughan Radio, which is basically an English teacher trying to teach English to the Spanish population. He has a radio station. But we don't have a commercial radio station like they do in, as I said, Malaga, Costa del Sol, Alicante, places like that. So there are a lot of English speakers in Madrid, but I don't know what the amount would be. And if you compare it to the percentage of how many there would be in places like Mallorca, Ibiza, Alicante, Malaga, just not enough to have a publication like that. So I read local press, Jared, and I read the news in Spanish, basically. That's what I do. All right, good. Now, what else we got going on here in the chat section? But anyway, thanks for that. My dog has decided to make an appearance here. I'll just put her on the screen there. What else we got going on here in the chat section? Janet, whose daughter is in Seville, says that ice is rationed and there's not much in supermarkets at the moment. So the shortage is happening. I had somebody say that there's no ice shortage in Spain the other day. So obviously we read different press and we go to different supermarkets. So that's always something that happens as well, that you get opposing opinions. All right, now what else we got going on here? The last comment that I'll look at today is this one here, 199 likes. So one more like to hit that 200 mark. The last comment we'll look at today from BD1. What was your doggy looking at when you cut the video to him for a short second? He seemed intent on something. A seabird, maybe, asks BD1. I'm not sure. I put that clip of the dog yesterday in the video. I wasn't sure what she was looking at. It could have been a seagull or another type of bird there on the coast. She goes crazy whenever she sees a cat or a bird or something like that. She tries to chase after them. But no doubt it was probably a seagull or something which was close by. But the seagulls here in this part of Portugal are massive creatures. I've never seen seagulls like them in my life. In Australia, we have seagulls that are probably about this big. Here, the seagulls are about this big. So 2 or 3 times the size of the seagulls that we have in Australia. So big seagulls in this part of Portugal, and they don't like to be messed with. They do not like to be messed with, the seagulls in this part of Portugal. But anyway, Welsh Dodo is in the chat section, a bit late today. No problems, Welsh Dodo. Thanks for joining. 212 likes now, so that's fantastic. Now we're up to the 39-minute mark. I'm going to cut this video short now. Thank you everybody for your participation. I'll just have a quick look at the ice shortage poll, and we're up to 126 votes. Still 91% of people saying that they are not affected by an ice shortage, so that is good to see. But apparently the worst is yet to come. So stay tuned for that. We'll keep everybody up to date on the looming ice shortages and any other shortages that are happening in Spain or happen in Spain over the next few months. We'll keep everybody up to date with what happens there. All right, so thank you very much for your participation. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for writing a chat, going out of your way to do that. I'll be back again on Tuesday with another live stream. I might even do a live stream this week on Wednesday as well. So stay tuned for that one if I do get around to doing that. And a regular video, I think, tomorrow. So stay tuned for that one also. Have a good day. Hasta luego. Hasta luego.